Ladies and gentlemen, first things first. This is going to be a quickie, but I said I'd do it on camera, and I meant it. Making sure I'm buying the right one here. Don't want to waste the time. And thank you, Jay Palmer. Even though you didn't watch the rewrite, which makes me sad. It's okay, I don't blame you. Terrible voice acting, terrible direction, terrible writing, terrible animation. It's pure garbage. Why would you have microtransactions in this game? That's ridiculous. This is a Nintendo game, sir. No, a real Nintendo game. Not that Nintendo Mobage, because Nintendo does put out Mobage, and it is Mobage. Let's be clear about that. Almost there. Count down with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have collected all the standees, earning you a medal. That makes 6. Ladies and gentlemen, 100%. Look at it. Look at it! Actually, what's really funny is it only took me about an hour to grind up all the coins. But finding an hour where I had nothing else to do was harder than it sounds. I actually ended up doing it while doing other stuff, because of course I did. But anyways, done! 100%. Nuked. Now, Evo, you're in chat. I wonder, if I was to ask you, what's a good song to put up for, you know, your game, what would you come up with? Just out of curiosity. Like, I'm sure you have one in mind, because you always want music to be playing during your games. Like, it's one of your big shticks, I've noticed, is you demand, you nay, insist. Mechanicus? Okay, that's actually not where I was going to go with a Metroid song. But, yeah. Let's do it. Hang on one second. Where's the Mechanicus playlist? Why did it move? Why did it move? Okay. Hang on, let's try Metroid first, because that was my idea. See if this works. What the? You have received a message on your Communico device terminal. Hang on, first of all, I do want to say, the visuals in this game are perfect. I'm thinking like 18 pluses just for the artwork. Maybe 20 pluses just for the artwork. Something like that. 50? I don't know. You've received a message. Let's go ahead and read it. Corporal, your mission orders have been transmitted. Oh, hang on. Nope, wrong song. Oh, God, I don't know where the song is. No, there's a perfect song for this, and I can't find it. Yeah, okay. This is just, we're just gonna brute force this. We're just gonna brute force this. Brute force.
The last Metroid
Shut
is
up.
in captivity.
Shut up.
The galaxy is at peace.
Here we go. Corporal, your mission orders have been transmitted to your Communico device. You must report to Sector 97A and continue investigations on energy anomaly. You must stay connected to the galactic level network for the duration of your mission. You are required to transmit your findings on energy anomaly to the Pluto archive at GLN at regular intervals. Should you encounter any difficulties, please report to the nearest GLN outpost in the star field. Good luck, Pluto. You commit the message to memory and then press delete. Before you stands a gaping tunnel. Do you check your sensors? You are grateful for the protection of your standard-issue Pluto vac suit, which stabilizes the environment that your body is subjected to out in the void of space. Without it, you wouldn't be able to breathe, let alone move on the surface of this asteroid. The walls of the tunnel are made of a strange type of rock. It's unfamiliar to you. The more you stare at them, the more you begin to realize they are completely covered in strange etchings. The etchings resemble insects? Or at least you think they're insects. They don't have this kind of stuff back home. It occurs to you, perhaps this is not a tunnel at all, but rather some kind of ancient hallway. So, should we check the sensors, or should we go to the end of the hall? Okay, Warp Source says, check the sensors. Sensors it is. You check your Communico. Your sensors return the following results. Oxygen 1.82%. Temperature negative 99.23 degrees Celsius. Wonder how cold that is in real units. Atmospheric pressure non-existent. Radiation 1.15 MSV. BLS null. ES 30%. Signature medium. We can check our encyclopedia or go back. Alright, let's check the encyclopedia. Pluto operatives are expected to take regular readings of their surroundings. Okay, this is us on approach. Pluto operatives are expected to take regular readings of their surroundings and transmit them to the Pluto Superior via the Galactic Link Network. Pluto operatives are strictly prohibited from interacting with energy artifacts until energy output levels are transmitted to GLN and returned with a stable demarcation. This is due to the unpredictable levels of energy deterioration found throughout the artifacts in distant galaxies. Pluto operatives are independent contractors, and insurance benefits are only issued in case operatives follow Pluto's standard operating procedures, or SOPs, to a satisfactory level. Operatives that fail to transmit their readings will forfeit insurance benefits should an incident occur. Please see the Pluto Contract Handbook, or reach out to your superior via the GLN for further reading. Okay, so we're here now. Ape Maniac. You enter a dimly lit room. The room is cavernous, and the walls and floors are made up of a rocky material. To you, the quality of the materials and construction leaves much to be desired. The air is still and stale. Whatever last inhabited this place has long since passed. You decide to check your sensors, which return the following input. Oxygen, temperature, atmospheric pressure, radiation. No life forms. 60% ES, signature medium. There's this thing. You catching this? Let's see. There. Plus to graphics immediately. Good morning, Dark Day. As you approach the structure, the crunch of the rock results in a subscription from Spartan. Wow, Evo, I need to play more of your games. They're just giving me money. That's right. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, 3 pluses, 50 pluses, 100 pluses. Speaking of which, Alpha Centauri, Bio Shock 2, and Black Mesa for Warp Core. Thank you again, Warp Core. And I noticed Jay Palmer donated earlier. God, why does it take so long to load these days? There it goes. Oh god, it totally does, Jay Palmer, you're right. So that's for season 24, season 1, Exterminations, Seek and Destroy, and wow, Legion. I heard someone's been liking Legion lately. Probably because it's the best freaking expansion. And then we've got the homeworld block, Dead Space R, and wow, Kata to Legion. Thank you, Spartan. Thank you, Jay Palmer. Both of you. It's the best WoW expansion. I guarantee you it's going to be the one that scores the highest. I guarantee it. Anyways, as you know, Jay Palmer, because remember, he would have just been tainted with the same bad riding brush everyone else was. Thank you, Race Cat. And good morning to you, Flag Ant. Ping to you. 1 second. Shots going towards Deathloop and Metro Exodus. As you approach the structure, the crunch of the rock under your foot faintly echoes throughout the room. You come face to face with a massive monolith, which we can interact with. Two ancient alien devices that you assume to be lamps stand on either side of the monolith. They look like massive crystals, and they radiate a cool blue light. The light illuminates the monolith's surface, revealing a series of foreign symbols. You find them barbaric and crudely etched in. Cracks along the stone surface and a missing chunk on the bottom right age the structure. How long has this stood here? So we can interact with the monolith. We can try to figure out how long it's been here. Those are our options. What makes a nation a middle power? It's not too small and it's not too big. In terms of WoW expansions, what are my personal favorites? That's easy. Legion and Pandaria. And probably Dragonflight would be the number 3 slot. I would also put Cataclysm very high up there. Those are all the good ones in my book. Yeah, I was going to say, does it say anything, Evo? For those of you who know, Evo is also a bit of a linguist. So she has more than capacity to actually make this say something, if she would like to. I can't read it. Why not? Hang on. Let's see. Vork. Mvok. There's a lot of M's here. Oh, that's a W. WFO. VDF. GVI. AO. Anyways, let's check out the monolith. The monolith towers over you, making its presence making you uneasy. It is a deep black made out of stone-like material that's somehow beyond your scope of knowledge. The alien symbols of a dead language are clearly you cannot read them. Oh God! Aliens attack! Aliens are attacking everywhere! Oh God! Jesus Christ! Why? Quick, we gotta run! We gotta run! Your Communico sensor detects energy anomalies. Oh God! That's what's making the music happen. Perhaps coming from this structure, you scan the surrounding area. Pluto should have a field day with this information. As you observe the monolith, you notice the empty socket at the bottom. You move to examine it, and a faint glint catches your eye. There's a small gem and a tablet. Quick, what do we do? What do we do? Gem or tablet? Gem or tablet? Ah! Oh God! Oh God! Okay. Hang on. Tablet, gem, tablet, gem. Okay, gem it is. The red gem is in the shape of a pyramid. You cannot discern its origin. You spend some time staring at the ground, almost expecting it to move. But then you realize it matches the slot of the monolith. Yeah! Oh, for God's sakes, okay, fine. Tablet. What do you do with the gem? Pick the damn thing up. You hesitantly pick up the gem. Hi, Zach Deft. Its aura suddenly enthralls you. That's what the music is. You feel its strange, cosmic energy penetrate your mind, threatening to consume it. Like a puppet on a string, the gem wills you to insert it into the socket on the tablet. Doing so causes the lamps to change hue to deep red. The room begins to shake. Parts of the wall and ceiling crumble, and a high-pitched alien noise passes through your mind. Just when you feel your mind will rend itself in twain, the room falls silent. The lamps return to their original blue. You aren't sure what else to do, so you make your way to the door at the end of the room. There are mysteries yet to uncover. I mean, that sounds cool to me, Judo Joker, but I'd need details. So first of all, thank you, Warp Core, very, very much. Man, J. Palmer, I am always sleepy. So hang on. Warp Core. Core. Woo. Every day it's making faster than light. Woo. Sorry. Borderlands 2. FTL, and STO. Which at this point is just STO in general, because who knows how long that game's even going to be out. At this point, there's some real threat there. And thank you, Dark Day, very, very much. Always, always appreciate it. I will jot that down for something. Hang on. We could do both, Talia said. So that's going towards Dragon Quest, 11S, Doom Block, and the RTS block. Thank you, Dark Day. Down the hall. Hey! I just want to once again praise this artwork. You move down the hall. You go right back up the hall. The temple descends further into darkness. You hesitate. Do you really want to go deeper into this asteroid? You decide now is not the time for cowardice. You carry on bravely into the void. That's it, Gum Gum? Sheesh. You enter the next room and almost immediately you feel heavier. You look down and realize your feet are entirely submerged up to your ankles in what you presume optimistically to be water. The room is flooded. Will you find this planet's version of fish here? Probably not. You quickly brush off the tough... of encountering other creatures as you remember the Pluto report from last quarter on these kinds of asteroids. I don't know what that's saying. Recent research determined that there have been minimal signs of intelligent life on any of them for centuries. You start moving forward, disrupting the water's age-long tranquility, spelled wrong, and generating a splash with each step you take. Oh, you're right. The thought of encountering other creatures. That makes much more sense. Thank you, Dahlia. See, I can't do this. I'm just brain dead. I completely forgot to credit one of our major voice actors for RFF2, so I'm an idiot. Huge praise to Chaotic Danny for playing Leon, the emotional and thematic core of the entire work. He did a great job of it. The room is mostly dark, except for the strange lamps you have encountered before and the reflections they cast on the water's rippling surface. It is not long until you realize you've been walking towards a dark figure on the other side of the room. Wait. Dark figure. More beautiful, beautiful artwork from the amazing, incredible, fantastic, and glorious Ivo Iliani. Or Ivaliani, if you prefer. The closer you get, the more obvious it becomes that said figure is a statue. You decide this would be a good time to check your sensors. Temperature's gone up a bit, oxygen's gone up a bit. H2O present, organic life present in H2O source. Beep, boop, destroy, destroy. Is this some kind of adoration site? Or is it just a warning? Aside from the statue in the water, the room appears to be empty. The statue is not like anything you've seen before. It reminds you of some kind of insect. Two antennae rest over two large eye sockets, and a fierce-looking set of mandibles protrudes down towards you like a sickening frown. The creature is muscular, has 4 arms, and is covered in barbaric-looking armor. Where? I don't see any armor. If it's an adoration site, I doubt this thing could keep its followers safe, you scoff. After further inspecting the statue, you realize that only in one of its eyes sits a gem, and the other socket is empty. So we can look for the gem, or we can approach the statue. That's true. Maybe it's the carapace. It was definitely the carapace. Plus to gameplay, and plus to story for gameplay and story integration. You get closer to the statue to get a better look at it. While getting closer, you catch a quick flash in your peripheral vision. You notice the gem lamps are suspiciously absent from one corner of the room. You walk towards the dark corner and you find a pedestal. You can't see very well in the dim room, so you start feeling around and eventually finding what you're looking for, the gem. A terrifying thought crosses your mind. What if taking the gem triggers a trap? Look, I've played Indiana Jones before. It's fine. It's fine. We take the gem. You question why the gem is there, but ultimately dismiss your fears as baseless, and take the gem. You were lucky this time as nothing bad seems to happen. I mean, like last time? Jesus. Yeah, this is the game that's going to break StarCraft 2. Once the gem is in your grasp, you admire it. All this beauty, and for what? A shrine? With the gem in hand, you walk back to the statue. Without putting too much thought into it, you insert the gem into the empty eye socket, and suddenly hear a loud click. And like a drain in a bathtub, the water level slowly decreases until the shimmering floor tiles reveal themselves in stunning clarity. You take a moment to admire the craftsmanship. Well, nothing left to do here. You see there's a tunnel behind the statue of the insect creature. You take a final look at what you now presume to be some sort of god figure for this particular species and walk towards the tunnel. The darkness swallows you whole. Thank you very, very much, Magister. Happy New Year's. I guess it is New Year's Eve today, isn't it? Wow. I haven't even celebrated Christmas yet, so what the hell do I know? I was working. Give me like 3 weeks, I'll do Christmas. You want to put that towards up to 3 things, Magister? Please let me know. You continue down the hallway and enter the next room. Ooh. Okay, this one says... Ich bin ein Berliner? I am a donut. The room is very bright, and you're able to make out your surroundings. The walls are lined with similar-looking markings as what was on the monolith. If you only understood this language, maybe you could decipher what everything means. Trying to find a non-boss fight. There we go. Not far into the room sits a series of panels that resembles a console. The panels do not seem like anything you've seen before, a detail you've seen repeatedly throughout your exploration of the ruins of this asteroid. You checked your sensors. Radiation is now critical. We can check the stone. We can check the console. Yeah, just had my Thanksgiving dinner. Happy New Year's. Clays? Oh, jeez. Stone! Let's do it. The console has a technological feeling to it. Could this be the source of the anomaly? The question continues to invade your mind. Ahem. The room is very bright. You're able to make out surroundings. Already? Yeah, okay, yeah. So, I approach the console. As I approach the console, a faint hum emits from it. All over the panels are those same strange symbols. Every single one is meaningless to you. Because Evo didn't have time to actually create a language. I guarantee you she could have. She did so for the extant. I'm gonna have to use that language in some future extant thing somewhere. Just because she made a freaking language. I don't know where or how, but I'm gonna have to use it somewhere. Anyways. All over the panels are the same symbols. You notice a slot in the consoles. Another gem to be inserted. You may have also realized that aside from the hallway you came from, there's no other way to leave this room. This must be the last one. You keep looking around to find it on the table on the other side of the room, resting on the table. The last gem! We can ignore it. Or we could use the gem. We could use the gem! And with its power, at long last, everything... what? Sorry. You're probably wondering why I have an apple on my desk. When I was getting ready for work this morning, my adorable middle niece walked up and said, "Here, Uncle Laura, make sure you have your apple. That way you won't lose it. It's yours. I'm giving it to you. Here." I said, okay. Now there's an apple on my desk. It was very cute. I can't emulate her adorable voice, but I can say thank you to Vancini. Thank you, Vancini. Always. Oh. Depends on what particular drive you're using, Gum Gum. If you're using portal space, like an hour or two. I do like drinking, and I do need to keep doing that. So that's going towards Empire of Sin, Rogue Crater, and Resident Evil block. To the console. Whatever this console is, it sure seems important. However, your lack of knowledge about the fallen species does not allow you to accurately hypothesize what might happen if you insert the gem. I like how it's giving me two options now to not put the gem in. We're going to put the gem in. Let's do it! The strange symbols fade from the panels. You breathe an involuntary sigh of relief. But your relief is short-lived. After a few moments, new, bigger symbols appear, radiating in menacing red. Hang on. I actually have a song for this. You touch the screen and a voice speaks to you. You do not understand what's being said. Visions of an alien race flow through your mind. You see the rise and fall of these aliens, their bodies identical to the statue you saw in the previous room. Huge structures rise from desert sands, only to be obliterated by powerful, radiant weapons that burn hotter than 1,000 suns. You feel as though your skin would be singed off were it not for the protection of your suit. You'll return to your reality rather unceremoniously to the sound of an impossibly loud alarm blaring through the hall. The room shakes. The door behind you snaps shut. The symbols converge on the panels into one large one and begin to change at a regular interval. It looks like a countdown. You begin to panic, but soon realize you are trapped, helpless. The timer hits 0. The room and everything around you on the entire asteroid explodes. You disturbed what did not belong to you, what you had no right to acquire. Your thirst for artifacts and history have wiped all evidence of this race, and indeed yourself from the galaxy, and in the end, it cost you your life! Well, I can only say one thing to that. We leveled up! But then we get a sub from Dean. Thank you, Dean. Always appreciate. Messenger, Talos, Principle 2, Tactics, Ogre, Ogre Reborn. Thank you. Okay, so hang on. Let's reset here. So we're going to read this, we're going to hit this, and then we're going to delete the message, we're going to go to the end of the hall. We do not check our sensors. We go here, and then we go to the gem. We go to the tablet, we pick up the gem, we move down the hall. We carry on bravely. It's a dark figure. Everything's empty. We find the gem. We feel dumb and wet. We finally give up. We take the gem. We go forward. Nothing to do here. Darkness swallows us whole. We're down to the next room. We get money from Vancity for some reason. Okay. Make a save point here. Yep. Be able to save anywhere. Plus to gameplay. Damn it, Vancity. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. Always appreciate it. And I hope you have a good New Year, because if you don't... Okay, so now, this time, we decide to change playlists again. Hang on, let's go back to Metroid. So now that we're not escaping from the horrible Death Doom, we ignore it. You do not insert the gem into the slot. You figure if you've wasted enough your time trying to determine if there's anything worthwhile on this asteroid. You compile the data on your Communico device into a report and prepare the file for transmission to your superior. You're lucky you have a way back to your ship because down here in the dark there's no way you'll get a strong enough signal. As you emerge from the cavern, you take one last sidelong glance into the tunnel. You start to ponder what you've experienced within the depths, but a beep in your helmet pulls you away. Your fingers take on a mind of their own as you absently key in the transmission coordinates and press the final button to confirm. Another bright ding appears cheerfully next to your indication of your report's receipt by your superior. You hope that at your Pluto promotion party, there will be cake. The end again, and this time with less blowing up. Yeah, hang on. I was about to say, there's only one thing I didn't do. So let's try this here. Hang on. So let's move forward. Delete the message. Go to the end of the hall. Go up to the structure. Go up to the structure. There's the monolith. Can't read them. That one stood here. There's a tablet. Leave the gem on the ground. The technology seems interesting, but you'd rather not mess with something you're unfamiliar with. It could be primitive technology from an inferior species. Or it could be something more. You have a sneaking suspicion some of the mysteries in this derelict asteroid are above your pay grade. You move through the room to the door on the other side. You move down the hall. You have cowardice. There's a dark figure. It's empty. We approach the statue. We leave the gem. While this race shows clear signs of inferiority, the possibility of dying from a primitive trap pollutes your mind. You decide to leave the gem. You see there's a tunnel behind the statue of the insect creature. You take a final look at what you now presume to be some sort of god figure and move in. You continue down the hallway to the next room. There's something here. You approach the console. You decide to ignore it. There's nothing worthwhile on this asteroid. You are at journey's end. You look at your Communico, remembering your mission, transmit your signal to Pluto. You hesitate for a moment. There's something about this place. It leaves you feeling melancholic. These ancient relics do not belong to you or to Pluto. You question why a corporation like Pluto would even want this technology. Whatever the reason, it's most likely for their own glory. A respectful corporation would not disturb what is not theirs. Throughout your journey, you decided not to mess with what does not belong to you. Deep inside of you, you realize you have no right to disturb the belongings of some ancient alien race. You take one last look at your Communico before turning it off. You have decided to leave these alien artifacts alone. You turn around and make your way back to the ship, leaving the derelict asteroid and its secrets behind. The end. Artwork by Evo. So let's see. Plus for artwork, plus for branching, plus for saves anywhere. Negative to story. All the negatives to story. Yeah, someone else will show up later and blow up the place. That would actually be really funny. Like, we leave and our person, what are you doing? Why aren't you looting stuff? And we're like, all right, no loot. Oh, wait. And then all of a sudden, someone else hits the console. Why are they on an asteroid? Why are there aliens on this asteroid? Why were there aliens on this asteroid? Evo, you know everything about this. Tell me all the hidden lore. Tell me all the behind-the-scenes lore. Listen, I know Evo's writing style. She will map out everything in intricate detail. She wants to know every little detail about her setting before she starts writing it. So she knows the entire history of this alien race that they invented for these, the insect people. She could tell you in depth. It's crazy. Evo, share a story with us about them. Just one story. Don't worry, I can wait. This is your cue to make something up on the fly. Would it help if I, like, shined a giant light right in your face and it was like, you must tell me right now. If you don't tell me in 5 seconds, the world will explode. Would that make you less stressed? Be honest. I'm here to help. So, I like to think that this actually used to be a chunk of a planet. And that planet had some issues. And this chunk went flying off into space as a consequence. So, what you were actually in, the reason it was survived and in the level of intactness as it was because that was actually a bunker. It was a survival bunker for the incident that caused it to be flying out into space to begin with. The thing is, they were absolutely terrified of the coming storm, the Great Dark. And so, as a direct consequence, they made sure that if the worst came to worst, they had the equivalent of a doom bell, aka kill yourself before the thing that's worse than death shows up. So, they had that one last thing that's at the very end of the thing. You can only do it if you go to the very bottom of the spot. It's like, okay, boop, and that's the kill switch to make sure, no matter what else happens, they won't be consumed by the ravenous swarm. Because you see, these insect people were being attacked and devoured by the most vile of creatures. These things, you can't even imagine. They had, like, bones inside their bodies and, like, this weird follicle hair thing on, like, a weird soft, like, membrane on their outside. It was disgusting. And they would make bizarre sounds out of these holes that came out of their mouths. And just there's this weird gelatin things in their faces. It's just horrifying. And these strange gelatin creatures just kept showing up and making noises at them and making noises at them. We never actually made contact with them eventually. But in the end, the war was inevitable. Because though they came to trade, all we gave them was death. There you go. Boom. Yeah, you just missed it. There's some of her artwork. Oh, you want something happy? Okay. Hang on. So, you know what an escape room is, right? In real life? Well, these aliens are a little more hardcore than we are. So, when they actually come up with an escape room puzzle thing, it's for keeps. So, we go in, and you're supposed to go in, and you're supposed to solve the puzzle and put in the gems and figure out what's going on with that, and there's a whole thing. And what happens is you put in the gem, you read the dialogue on the panel or on the tablet, and then you say aloud the answer, and if the answer's correct, the gem changes color. If it's not, well, that doesn't go well. So, as a direct consequence, I hope you like it, Spartan. As a direct consequence, if you fail to properly answer the questions posed by the riddles, well, then the whole planet starts to explode and then everybody dies. Now, this particular outpost, Outpost 24, was well known for having a 100% success rate. Everybody who came through could solve their puzzles. So, Yeah, no, they were actually really good, and we naturally show up and couldn't read the riddles, so we died horribly. The end. Any questions? Oh yeah, also they developed these people developed mind control, but were massively inferior in every other way. I don't. What does the tablet say? Actually, give me a second. Hang on, hang on. What is the longest word in the dictionary? The answer is, of course, smiles, because there's a whole mile in between the two S's. What month of the year has 28 days in it? All of them, yeah. What has 13 hearts and no other organs? Yeah, deck of cards. Actual thoughts on the game story. Sure. So it's very dystopian. We get inferences about the nature of how space exploration is being done by exploitative corporations, and we also get hints that this is a multi-galactic civilization, as in a transgalactic civilization. So that's awful. It would be so far in the distant future as to be at the point where most concepts that we have at the moment have completely broken down. What else? The fact that we obviously work alone in what I can only imagine is one of billions of people who are just out combing the galaxy for information in order to make money is its own kind of form of horrifying, trivializing and banalizing the very nature of space exploration into just a day job. There's a very clear undercurrent of reaching out to try and procure resources and riches. This is something I talked about with a friend of mine very, very recently, if you don't mind me going on a tangent for just a second. The overwhelming majority of science fiction is actually what I call negatively inclined. And by science fiction, I, of course, mean fiction in general. Fiction in general, so what I mean by negatively inclined is fiction in general tends to presume bad. Like this boss music that just started. In other words, if I wrote a story and I said there's a good politician, your immediate knee-jerk reaction is probably going to be something along the lines of, "Oh, so what are they really up to?" Or, "Oh, sure, yeah, right." Or, contradiction of terms, right? There you go. That's all I need to explain. That is negatively inclined. The mere fact that there cannot be such a thing as a positively inclined politician, ergo means it is now a negatively inclined story. Makes sense? Now, I don't agree with that Roman cure, but that's neither here nor there. So the overwhelming majority of fiction presumes that people are inherently bad, and that life is inherently bad. It doesn't have to be necessarily dystopian. Dystopia is just like a further end version of this type of concept. Yeah, exactly, 040. And that's this. This is your typical, no offense, but it is what I'm talking about. It's a typical example of fiction presuming bad. Now, this The reason this came up recently is we were covering Star Trek, and how extraordinarily rare it is that Star Trek actually starts from a positivity perspective. It presumes that things will actually get better over time, that things will actually improve, and that there is such a thing as a decent politician or a decent admiral, whatever. And it's just interesting to think about, because I have to really, really sit and think about how many fictions out there are positively inclined. Off the top of my head, I can only think of 2. And that's sort of sad, if I'm being honest. Oh, sorry, 3. I can think of 3. So, yeah, MLP, Star Trek, and the Extant. If we can even count that. That's it. That's the list. I'm sure there are others. I'm sure... Oh, Pokemon. Actually, Pokemon's on the list, too. And that's what I mean by positively inclined. It doesn't... Some people misunderstand this because I'm terrible, dumb, stupid, worthless, ugly, and terrible. Yes, I'm double terrible. But positively inclined doesn't mean bad things can't happen, and negatively inclined doesn't mean good things can't happen. It's just the overall tone and vibe of the work. There's a leaning, is I think the way I'd put it. A leaning towards everything is awful, or a leaning towards everything can be better. FF4, it's funny you say that, Blade Travel, because WoW is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Warcraft is positively inclined. Because, so, a friend of mine and I have been going through WoW and FF14 at the same time recently. Yeah, absolutely, Jay Palmer. And it's shocking how different the tone is between the two. FF14 is not what I would call typically dark, but at the same time, FF14 is absolutely littered with things that are definitely negatively inclined. Deep-seated racial biases or colonialism kind of a thing, you know, the moving in and suppressing and oppressing other races. There's awful, gross things I'm not going to say out loud. There's some stuff that happens in Endwalker. Like, FF14 is definitely negatively inclined. Probably because it's going for a more real-life approach, which is exactly what Lord Harremont mentioned earlier. The idea that most fiction, this is also something that 040 mentioned, most fiction tends to lean itself more towards basing itself on real life. And real life sucks, so negatively inclined. Warcraft, by contrast, doesn't have any of that crap. Warcraft is very, very much more an adventurous vibe, even when it comes to war. War, in most fiction, is just this miserable, dark, gritty, gristle, ugly, awful. As it should be. But in Warcraft, war is like, yeah! And I feel like that explains the difference in one succinct sentence. So, yeah, for the Horde! Like, there's no really zooming into just how absolutely awful war is in Warcraft, because it's not. Because that's not what Warcraft is. And there are concepts that flat out do not exist in Warcraft. So, yeah. By contrast, one of those concepts shows up right at the beginning of one of the quests, like when you're like level 15 in FF14. So, anyways, moving on. Sorry, I got way off on a tangent there. I do apologize. Point being, this story is definitely one of the negatively inclined ones, as most stories are. And that's cool. I'm with that. I'm not judging it. I'm not trying to say it sucks. It's just extraordinary how rare positively inclined fiction is. So, this is cool. And I do actually like the visuals, not just because they're from you, Eva, but I do think they're cool. I think my favorite part about it is, and it's the screen we stopped on right here. Look at how much effort and time she had to put into actually making that fake script there. I know that sounds like such a strange thing, but like really think about what it would be like to sit down and be like, okay. And you have to consider formatting, so you have to make sure the spacing of the text is right, and you have to make sure that you've got so many lines, and you gotta vary them up, so you gotta come up with random iconography to just have. Like, you gotta think about this, you know, you gotta really think about this, and where to go with it, and why to do with it, blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, that's awesome. Yeah, Evo did this in a cave with a box of scraps. I do like being able to save it, even though that's just twine at that point. And what else story-wise? I guess that's it. I hate to say that there's not much meat on the bones. So there's not much else to discuss story-wise. I do think we're playing a dwarf though. That way we can walk in. Ah, I'm too dry. There we go. Now we can go ahead and walk in and examine what's going on with each one of these little alien tab. I'm too dry. I am too dry. Whatever. 10 out of 10. Good job, Eva. Thank you for sharing all this.